Kansas has child support guidelines that govern how child support is calculated and ordered in the state of Kansas. So the Kansas child support guidelines will take, we have here husband's gross income and wife's gross income. If we're dealing with a paternity action where the parties are not married, we're just talking about mom's gross income and dad's gross income. So both parents' gross income is put into a formula, and it's used to determine the presumed amount of child support. So that's the amount of child support that's generally ordered by the court. However, the presumed amount, it can be argued that there's circumstances within your family that the presumed amount would not be in the best interest of your children. And so you can try to argue that the court should order some other amount by presenting some evidence to the court to try to show the contrary. I mean, it's not always it's not easy to necessarily try to argue off of the presumed amount, but certainly if circumstances are involved with your family that make the presumed amount unreasonable, then talk to your attorney about that, gather evidence, and they can present that at trial. So among some common issues that it can affect the amount of child support is the payment of health insurance. So as we had discussed, if let's say mom's ordered to pay the health insurance for the children, whatever amount she pays monthly for the children would be included in the child support calculation. And then you can also receive in this calculation visitation credits, for example, based upon the amount of overnight visits you receive with the children throughout the year. And then you can also choose whether or not to include daycare expenses in this worksheet. So if you include daycare into the calculation, then it'll affect the child support amount. But then you can also choose not to include daycare expenses, and if you have daycare expenses, you can include them in the parenting plan. So you have the choice between putting daycare in the parenting plan or the child support calculation. And it's really a strategic thing that you want to work through with your attorney, because it has pros and cons for both sides. And then, of course, the courts have judicial discretion. So, like I said, when calculating child support, usually you come up with a presumed amount that's generally ordered by the court, but the judge has discretion to decide whether or not to order that amount or to come up with a different amount based upon the situation of your family. And just to know, child support generally goes to the age of 18 in Kansas. If your child turns 18 while still in high school, then it'll go to June 30 of that high school year. And then the parties can agree to extend child support past the age of 18 if they do it by agreement. And there's some other issues involved there that you would talk to your attorney about, of course. And usually in Kansas, child support is paid through a wage withholding. So taken directly out of income from an employer, and that's usually the preferred way to pay child support. On occasion, the court will allow the order of one parent to directly pay the other parent, but it's a little frowned upon. They prefer to do it through wage withholding, but that is an option.